Broncos country, what is up? It is the Kodiak Broncos podcast, and today I'm here to talk about why Talanoa Huafanga is a massive upgrade over what we had last year at the safety position, particularly one starter that I want to highlight in this video. But before you dive into it, I just want to say, leave a like if you enjoy, subscribe if you're not already. You'd always wait until the end. Hopefully I'll have earned it. And yeah, so I'm really pumped that we signed Hufanga. He definitely fills a need in our secondary because our secondary was very, very strong this year. However, there was a very, very weak link in the secondary, and his name was PJ Locke. Now, I've talked about him a couple times on this channel. I've talked about how if he returns as an every down starter for the Broncos in 2025, I would be very, very disappointed in the team. My main thing with PJ Locke is it felt like all the big plays, they always came in the worst moments. Like, he always gave up the worst possible plays in the worst moments. So I'm going to highlight this game against Seattle real quick. I'm sure you guys remember this game. It was week 1. We had a really ugly offensive showing. But this just can't happen. Like, Geno Smith is not the most elusive runner in the world. He's not a statue, but there are very few guys who Geno can make miss, if you get what I'm saying. So this one, PJ Locke just gets completely cooked by Geno Smith in the run game. All right, I'm going to show you one thing. So he thinks that Geno Smith is going to come upwards. And sorry, I don't have like a clicker or anything. My mouse will just have to do. But we're going to watch this and kind of frame by frame it. So PJ Locke, he just gets caught in no man's land here. I think DK Metcalf is kind of like an artificial shield. Or actually, that might be Fant. I think that's Fant by the arm sleeve. And yep, PJ Locke is just caught way too flat-footed. And he doesn't take a good angle either. Zach Allen doing his best to run him down, and unfortunately, it just doesn't happen here. Just not something you can have happen week 1 in the NFL season. Now, you're going to watch Huafanga up here, and you are going to notice. So, Huafanga, I just want to say, in these videos, he is very easy to point out because of the dreads. So, he's right here as circled by my mouse. If you can't see him, he's above, just right next to the 40-yard line. But I like this play on Geno Smith a lot better. I think this play on Geno Smith is a lot better of what we're getting from our new safety right here. So instead of letting Geno Smith run right by him, what happens is that I'll just let the play out. Geno Smith gets absolutely ransacked right here. And Hufanga gets the ball out, and guess what? The ball gets recovered by San Francisco. Or actually not recovered by San Francisco, but forced fumble goes crazy right there. And that's what we're getting from our new safety. So this just drove me absolutely absurd. You cannot let this happen in the biggest game of the year on the Chargers, like potential game-winning drive to kind of seal the deal, if you will. Gus Edwards is a guy who is on the tail end of his NFL career. He did close to nothing this year. I know he had a decent year last year with the Ravens when he was literally scoring touchdowns and he was kind of a red zone merchant. But this year he's kind of offering next to nothing. Like, the Chargers' rushing attack without Dobbins was nothing that any team should have been scared of, and nothing that any defense should have struggled with. But in a crucial drive, and a gotta-have-it point in the game, this is just bad. This is just flat-out bad. I don't know how else to say it. So PJ Locke is right here. He's in the middle of the field right next to the Chargers logo. And unfortunately, so Gus Edwards kind of runs like right at him, or as close as he can. But Gus Edwards, I don't know how big he is. I don't know how much he weighs, but he has ran at like he's in cement at certain points this year. And in a gotta have a drive, PJ Locke gets shedded. Now, Dondre Tillman gets shedded there too, but whatever. He was kind of chasing him down from behind. PJ Locke should have been that first line of defense, and what I will say is that Edwards should have never been up in the first place. So this play is going to make you guys really, really excited, mainly because I want you guys to keep an eye on our 2 new acquisitions right here. Greenlaw right here and Huafanga right here. They're both at the bottom of the R of the 49ers logo if you're struggling to see my mouse. Again, don't really know how this is going to be when it's, in its final product. But at the bottom of the R right here, just keep an eye on Alvin Kamara. So Alvin Kamara ends up catching a screen out of the backfield, and I just want you guys to see the outcome of this play. So Greenlaw's not caught flat-footed. He has contained. But Huafanga, he takes away this out route towards the end zone, I believe, on Juwan Johnson. Yeah. And then, so Greenlaw is able to wrap him up. Greenlaw is able to wrap him up and kind of drag him out of the end zone. And boom. Ball gets punched out. And it is recovered by our guy, Dre Greenlaw. This has got to make you super duper pumped if you are a Broncos fan. I don't know how you can watch this video and not be super duper excited about the future of this team and what it holds. So I'm just going to show you again. Andy Dalton drops back, checks down to Alvin Kamara. Dre Greenlaw is able to keep Kamara upright. Boom. Awesome stuff right there. Can't wait to see that happen in the orange and blue instead. So this one, I got to say, don't really love the matchup here. I think the Chargers did a good job of, using their number 44 fullback who also plays defensive end. I can't remember his name. I think it's Matlock. Is that who it is? Correct me if I'm wrong. But so I honestly don't love the matchup here. But one thing you will notice is that PJ Locke, he's on the far left side of the screen. He's completely unblocked right now. He just loses contain. He flat out loses contain. And like I said, the defense needs to do a better job of getting him into a matchup here so that this doesn't happen. But PJ Locke completely fails to keep contained. Like, he should have been a little more, he should have got a little more downfield here. Now, but you want to force a guy as inside as possible, even on an outside run. And PJ Locke just does not do a good job of that here. So just going to watch him, boom, and then he ends up getting pancaked. Yeah, just not good. Not good at all. Brandon Jones runs him down to make the tackle. And this one, I like it a lot better. I like this, line of scrimmage run play a lot better. And listen, it is low-hanging fruit, I will say, to show all of PJ Locke's lowlights and show all of Huafanga's highlights. I will say that. But the difference is that I tried to pick, crucial points to every game. Every part of the game, this is either third down, fourth quarter, or a substantial point in the game. So I'm doing the same thing with Hufanga here. If you guys remember, this was back in 2022. If you have the unfortunate privilege of remembering this game, like I unfortunately do as well, this game was an absolute nightmare. But what I really like about Hufanga is that he takes a really, really nice angle to Melvin Gordon at the last possible second. And, I know that, we're wearing orange and blue. I know that the 49ers are wearing white, but I'm sure that no Broncos fan is going to lose any sleep over this kind of hit on a guy like Melvin Gordon. Okay? Just great stuff from Hufanga there. Really, really like how he is able to play the run. Let's watch this from the tight. Instead, let's watch this from the tight. He appears in the last possible second. Times it perfectly. Just absolutely great play by Hufanga there. All right, so this one, oh my God, I don't even know how to explain it. This one just makes me want to rip my hair out. So this is a play action play. Or no, this isn't a play action, but Minshew does carry it out like it is a play action. And so what happens here is that watch Bowers right here. He runs like he's running a flat route, and at the worst possible time, like PJ Locke, keep an eye on him. His eyes are still on the quarterback right here. But he keeps his eyes on Gardner Minshew, and instead of being able to, contain Madison and potentially have a, play up the middle up here where he can, wrap him up or whatever, PJ Locke just completely turns around and he runs towards Bowers instead. And that hole is used to go, through here. And then it's Alexander Madison down the right side of the field. All right, so instead of biting on this fake like PJ Locke did in the last clip, I'm just going to show you the outcome of the play. So, actually this wasn't a fake. This was just really good instincts by Hufanga to, recognize what was going on. And you know what? Let's allow the rest of the clip to play out. Looks good to me, guys. Looks really freaking good to me. All right. Oh my God. These just keep getting worse and worse, man. These just keep triggering more and more PTSD. So it is not that big of a red flag to get beat by an elite player. Brock Bowers is an elite player for a reason. He smashed every rookie reception record at the tight end position for a reason. But it is a completely other thing to just get absolutely mossed and not even have a shot at the play. So, okay, he's beat. I think it's fair to say that Bowers does a step on him. But what happens here is that he just gets completely out high pointed, and this just is not a good spot to be in as a DB. I don't know who needs to hear that, but it's really not a good thing when you're letting a guy high point over your back and, you end up falling down anyway. Maybe Bowers got away with a little shove, but either way, there was no OPI called on the play, and this is just the life of being an NFL defensive back, is that you're going to have to deal with some physical play, especially from a guy like Brock Bowers. And we did a lot better on him in our second matchup. So, we can't really harp on this too much, but for PJ Locke, it is just so easy to see why we upgraded very, very substantially at the safety position. Once again, opening drive of the game, had a chance to come out, get some momentum with a stop. Unfortunately, our momentum didn't come until the Surtain pick six. So, yep. Just kind of sums up how his season went. And then this one, I like this middle of field coverage play a lot better from Hufanga. So, yes, I understand that this is on Justin Fields, but I'm going to go back a little bit. But Hufanga at least has the instincts to recognize what is going on. Fields, he's winding up, and Hufanga knows he has eyes in the back of his head that, this slot receiver is going to come over the middle of the field, that he's running like a little, dig over the middle of the field, and listen. Boom. I just can't wait to see this guy in the orange and blue above all else. I hope you guys are excited as I am. One of the last clips I'll show you is that PJ Locke just completely bites on this fake. This is carried out by Darius Davis. Watch him at the top of the screen. So Darius Davis is right here around the 20-yard mark. PJ Locke is right here around the 15. So right here, you're going to see PJ Locke take a little backup because he thinks that they're like, I'm not really sure what he thinks. Maybe he thinks that they're like running a screen because he sees this blocker way out wide. But either way. All right, so he goes over here to Darius Davis, and then Darius Davis just ends up running right by him. Gets caught flat-footed for even half a second, and that was the difference in some of our games this year. So, yeah, this is just another nice TFL that I wanted to include. This was actually in Hufanga's first career game. This was on David Montgomery. So, yeah. Listen, I can respect PJ Locke. I understand that there has been so much he's done as a Bronco, and we bet big on him by releasing Justin Simmons. It's crazy to say that, that was kind of part of why we released Justin Simmons, who was a core guy last year. But once again, we needed to upgrade at this position. Like, I was just so tired of seeing in the crucial moments PJ Locke just give the offense on the other team, a big play. And Hufanga has amazing instincts. It is a risk because, he has not been the healthiest player over the past few years. But guess what? This strength and conditioning staff, they've earned the rights to be they've earned the rights to some reclamation projects as far as, if we can get Hufanga back to full strength, if we can get Greenlaw to his full pre-Achilles form. And ultimately, that's what I think these free agent signings really boil down to. But the talent is unarguable. I am super, super excited for Hufanga. He is a huge upgrade over what we had. And listen, PJ Locke definitely has a spot on the team as a backup dude. But if we have to watch him against the Chargers next year, I will be very, very irate if something happens and he's forced into the starting lineup. Just prepare yourself because it's going to be a really, really long day. But Hufanga, I am super happy to have you in the orange and blue. Welcome aboard, my brother. All right, that does it for me. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.